Okay, so debentures. So debentures are nothing but the public money is being considered as loan here. So we are investing into the companies as loan. We are not giving them as the money to use for shares, but we are giving it as loan where they are supposed to pay the money back to us along with the interest. Now, what happens with the share capital is that we will give them the money. Okay, public, we means public will give the money to them. So when public gives the money to the companies, so companies will give them something called as shares. Okay, so these shares are nothing but like a proof where as and when the company grows, the value of that share also will grow. Okay, it's a part of the share capital that is being given. Then when it comes to debentures, in a similar way, instead of giving it to in the form of shares, we have another option which is loan. So debentures are the name given to that. Now for these debentures, the company is supposed to pay us interest. In simple words, public will take loan from bank. Correct? Public will take loan from bank. But here, public is giving loan to company. Here it will take, but here it is giving. So that is known as debentures. Whenever you give the loan to somebody, you expect them to pay the interest. Now, why are they supposed to pay the interest? There is time value of money. Okay, so every minute, every second is important, because every that minute and second, if I invest the same money in somewhere else, okay, if I keep them in the bank account, or if I put it into the fixed deposit, I was earning more than what I was earning in the company, suppose. Okay, so nobody likes to waste their time, effort, as well as money. So that is the main reason always companies work very, very smart and hard to understand that the okay, one second, to understand that the debentures are the loans and interest is compulsory to be paid. Now for shares, they might miss a dividend, there is no problem, but for debentures, interest are compulsory. Okay, so that can be paid in the regular intervals. The regular intervals may be 1 year, sometimes 6 months. 6 months interest will be given, sometimes every 3 months, that is quarter interest will be paid to the debentures. So it depends on the type of debentures that is being issued by the company. Okay, and the percentage of the interest will be fixed before only. 9% debentures, 12% debentures, 11% debentures, 10% debentures, 15% debentures. Like this, the amount and the interest rate will already be mentioned, and it is very important to follow that interest path. Okay, so for 1 year, they'll be paying 15% interest. In that, you are supposed to, if the company thinks, okay, instead of paying 15% at a time, let me divide it into 3 to 4 parts. Okay, so that part of the dividend they will be paying. Sometimes they'll pay 6 months. It depends on the profits available with the company. But interest is compulsory. Okay, interest is compulsory. So this is the debentures. Now let us move on further and understand more about debentures. Another very, very simple definition is, it's a certificate of loan issued by the company which creates indebtedness of the company. One more thing that you're supposed to understand is, since debenture is a loan, okay, now if we go to a bank and if we ask for a loan, will they give it free of cost? Will they say, okay, you just take the money and go, it's okay, we will think about interest and all later, will they say? None of the banks will talk like that. So banks will check your income, Or will you be able to pay back the money or not? Yes, take the same. We are comparing the loan which the banks give and the money which we are putting into the company as loan. Okay, so what all banks will check? Now banks will check your income. Okay, how much is your income for 1 year? It will check. Okay, and then what are the other required documents like your PAN card, Aadhaar card, okay, and the bank statement. What is the balance that you are maintaining in the bank? All that it will check, because if you don't maintain the minimum balance only, how will the bank give you the loan? If you don't have a work or if you're not getting salary, how will you repay the loan? There is no, if there is no source of income, then it means that you don't even have any other work. So if you don't pay the money back to the bank, that is repayment is not done, bank will be at loss. So bank will have something called as NPA, non-performing assets. If a person do not pay any of his loan back, then it will become NPA. Okay, so these non-performing assets, if it increases too much, then the banks will not have money at all to pay for the others. That is when bank will go at a loss. Okay, similarly, now compare this with the company and public giving loan. So now this time we are giving loan. So we will sit and think about the company. We will also analyze if the company is getting enough profit or not. When are they paying us back the interest and the principal? For how many years will they keep our money? When will we get back the whole money? What are the extra advantages we get by keeping the money here? There are so many options where you can save your money and double them or increase them, at least if not doubling. So out of that, I have chosen to invest in the company's debentures. It means that the public has trusted the company and they are trying to invest. So when they're doing this, they'll have to keep something as charge. If you're taking a vehicle loan, okay, if you're taking a housing loan, gold loan, all that papers is supposed to be with the bank. If it is gold loan and all, physical gold only will be kept with them, right? Except for gold loan, the other immovable assets, when it comes to immovable assets like land and building, then we ask for the paper, and that all the details should be in the name of the owner. So similarly, the companies will say, okay, I will also create a charge. Now that you are giving me the loan, okay, you will say, see, if I don't repay the loan, the company will say, if I don't repay the loan for public, you are free to take away this machinery. That machinery will be worth some 5-6 crores. Okay, you are free to take away that machinery. What will you do taking the machinery? You will sell it and take the money. That's all you will do. Okay, so when they are doing debentures, there are two types. One is charge debenture, which means here we are keeping the asset and then we are saying, see, if I don't pay, you can take the amount by selling this machinery. There is another type of debentures which can be issued, that is without charge. Okay, it will be for very less amount. Excuse me. It will be for very less amount in that case. So at those times we are supposed to check the amount of the loan. Okay, so that is the basic idea of debentures. Now in the types of debentures, we have few debentures to be understood. Let us understand all this. Firstly, redemption and tenure, that is redeemable or irredeemable. Like how we had redeemable and irredeemable preference shares, similarly there are debentures, but irredeemable is not allowed as per the Companies Act, so they don't issue that. To just understand the types of debentures, you have it here. So first part, which is redeemable. Redeemable means giving back. Redeem is to give back. Okay, so whenever you see a debenture where they repay the principal as well as the interest. Now interest you will be getting every month. Okay, now apart from the interest, your principal amount, let's say A has bought a debenture of 10,000 rupees. Okay, the debentures is worth 10,000 rupees and they are paying 15% interest on the debentures. Okay, now this 10,000 rupees, on this 10,000 rupees, what is that 15% debentures that you will be, or what is the interest that you will be getting on 10,000? If you calculate 15%, you will be getting 1,500 as the interest every year. Okay, now apart from the interest, if they pay you 10,000 rupees also, this is the principal amount. So that will be redeemable debentures. And opposite to this, that is irredeemable debentures, here is where this 10,000 rupees will not come back, but they will keep paying you the interest for a good number of years. Okay, so in redeemable, the company is legally, by law, they have to pay you back the debentures on a particular date. Okay, in the debenture certificate, they will give you all the details. What all details will be in the debenture certificate? You will have the name, your name, company's name, on which date you have taken the loan. So that is date of loan. What is the percentage of interest? How much is the amount of loan? And for how many years are they taking the loan? Okay, so that will be the mentioned in the debenture certificate. That is redeemable and irredeemable. If they pay back, yes. If they don't pay back, but at the end of, while the company is closing, it is compulsory for them to pay back the debenture amount at any chance. Okay, they cannot keep the debentures amount like your what is that, preference shares. They have to pay you back in one or the other form. That one thing you have to understand. Then moving on to the next one is convertible and non-convertible. Now here the debenture holders, they are not called shareholders. Okay, don't get confused. Debenture holders they are called. Okay, they're not called as loan person or anything. They're called with a particular name called debenture holders. Okay, so the debenture holders have an option of converting their debentures to equity shares. Okay, if at all you have bought the debenture which can be convertible to equity shares, then the company will open up a chance to convert your debentures to equity shares, and this conversion can be done in the various stages. What are the various stages? You can do the conversion in partly or fully. Let's say you have, for 10,000 you have 10 shares. So let's say first you want only 4 shares to be converted. So you can only do a partial conversion. Partial does not mean 50%. Partial mean anything less than the full is called as partial or partly. Okay, one part of the debentures can be converted into equity shares. Now you will have accounts. Actually what you're studying here is full of theory. For all this theory you're studying here, there are accounts. Okay, there are formats that the company should follow when they issue such debentures. They have to maintain the registers. Now, like we maintain the attendance register, right? For all your attendance throughout one semester, throughout 1 year, or if we do any event, we maintain all that records. Okay. Similarly, company also has to maintain to whom did it issue shares, to whom did it issue debentures, when it was done, why it was done, when the meeting happened. All the data has to be maintained. So the company will have accounts for all of these things that you're studying here. Okay. Some or the other type of documentation, 100% documentation should be done by the companies. Now, if they don't do that 100% documentation, whenever they are asked for any information, they will get stuck. Okay. So that is why there is something called as Companies Act. Now, this Companies Act will make sure that all of the companies will, okay, all of these companies will actually maintain all the recordings and everything correctly, and they will try to uh, give their progress report. What is the progress report? That's nothing but balance sheet. So in that balance sheet, when they provide all the proper information, that is when everybody is convinced. Clear? So that is what we'll be studying next. So we saw the first two ways, that is redeemable, irredeemable, convertible. Then non-convertible is you cannot convert them to equity shares. It will remain as debentures only. Okay, they will always be as the debentures, and you just have to keep taking the interest, and then one day they can pay you the amount back. So that will be the non-convertible debentures. Then moving on to the next one is the secured and unsecured debentures. This is what I was talking about when it comes to charge. So secured debentures means secured by the charge on some asset or set of assets. So what will happen is when we are giving loan, we can ask the company saying, what is the guarantee of you paying back to us? So in that scenario, the company can say, okay, see, I am creating a charge on the asset. Now, charge on the asset means if at all the company doesn't pay the money, I can sell the assets and get the money from that. Okay, so that is known as charge. So secured debentures means here my loan is secured by that machinery value, or my loan is secured by the building value of the company. So that is secured debentures. Okay, another example you can understand secured debenture is when you take a gold loan. Now, when you take a gold loan, you have to go and physically keep the gold ornaments, jewelry or biscuits, whatever that you have in the bank, so that they will check the gold purity and they will give you loan. So if at all one person does not pay amount on the gold as interest, then in that case they will be taking, or they will be keeping away that gold, right? So they will sell that gold off and make money for the bank. So that is your secured loan. Unsecured loan means only based on trust they will give the loan. Only based on trust. You will not take any sort of paper, nothing. Only your basic information will be given and they will give you loan. That banks will not do, but I'm just giving an example. Okay, by doing that only banks are actually going at loss. The banks will not do that. That's just an example. But in the case of companies, when the company, or when I trust the company and company will trust me, when we trust each other so much that I will say, okay, you don't create any charge, you don't keep your asset or plant machinery, don't keep anything, just take this money, but make sure you pay me the interest. Okay, when it is issued solely on the credibility of the issuer, that is known as unsecured or naked debentures. This will be in very less amount. Okay, unsecured debentures will not be in great amount. Secured is only in a great amount because people will have some backup, right? So they'll say, okay, somehow we will get the money. So on that basis, they can give more money. So that is the next type of debenture. Then transferability or registration. Now registered debentures and unregistered debentures. Now registered debentures means the debenture holder name, address, his details, okay, everything will be given to the debenture, everything will be mentioned on the debenture certificate, okay. And there is something called as stamp duty. I'm not sure if it will come for debentures, but for shares it will come, okay. So here in the registration, it's something like how you register a agreement, how you register an agreement. Similarly, you can register your debentures certificate also, okay. Unregistered means I will just have a general certificate. Whoever has that certificate with them, they will be the owner of the debenture. Suppose if I have the debenture certificate, there it is a general certificate, my name and all will not be there, okay. Now if I give the debenture certificate, let's say I give the debenture certificate to Nikita. Now Nikita will be the owner of the debentures of the company. So when company pays interest and that certificate is with Nikita, so Nikita will get the interest amount, okay. Now what Nikita will do, after 6 months she will sell the debentures to Meghana, okay. Now who is having the certificate? Meghana. So Meghana will get the interest given by the company during that period, okay. So this selling of shares and debentures, or you can simply say selling of securities. Securities include shares as well as debentures, scripts. There are so many things that will be included, okay. Now this also has an accounting. What is that accounting called? It's called as investment accounting. I think you'll be learning it in final year, one small part, I'm not sure, okay, but it's very interesting. When you sell a debenture, how do you write in the accounts? When you sell the share, how do you write in the accounts, okay. When let's say now Meghana is giving back the debentures to me, how do I write in the accounts of the company? Everything is detailedly explained in the investment accounting, okay. So that is your registered and unregistered debentures. Now coming to the last type of debentures given here, that is fixed and floating. So this is on the basis of interest rate. Now here the debentures can have a fixed rate. So when I say 15% debentures, it is a fixed rate debenture. So here throughout the life of the debenture, no matter how many years you will be having the debenture, the company will keep paying 15%, 15%, 15% only, okay. So that will be the fixed debenture. Now coming to floating. Floating is nothing but as how the rates change in the bank and how RBI gives the interest rate. Okay, before that, I think you'll have to understand how RBI gives the interest rate. Now, RBI also is a decider for interest rate. Recently, the interest rate on housing loans has come down than before. How did they do? Banks cannot decide on all that. It should be the RBI who should give the instructions. Okay, so when RBI gave the instructions, banks will implement it. So that is how the banking works. So RBI will give out some interest rates on the basis of points. Okay, they have a technical word for this. So on the basis of points, they'll reduce or increase the interest rate from the base rate. So that is what is to be considered. So when it is floating charge, when it is floating rate of interest, then it will depend on the benchmark of maybe the RBI interest rates, or there are other interest rates which will be prevailing in the market. Okay, there is something called as debt market. You have heard about share market, right? So stock exchange will have both debt market as well as share market. So if you try to understand corporate environment here, there are so many angles to understand this. Firstly, you have to understand from the company point of view. Okay, then you have to understand from the investor point of view. Then you have to stand in the third person's place and analyze, okay, so these two are people, one is company, one is the investor. Now how are they trying to work? Okay, so that is the ways of learning. This subject is an ocean. There are a lot of things which gets connected to the company, because this company is the industry which is helping India survive. No matter it is agriculture company, manufacturing company, service company, no matter which sector it belongs to, it is giving us income and we are surviving out of that only. Okay, so here, coming to the floating rate of interest, it will be on some benchmark. So these are the types of debentures, starting with redeemable and irredeemable, convertible, non-convertible, secured, unsecured, registered, unregistered, and fixed and floating. Okay, so here they have explained it once again. Redeemable and irredeemable, go through all of this, and then we have registered, then we have convertible, and then non-convertible. Now coming to the advantages of debentures. Control of company is not surrendered to the debenture holder because they don't have any voting rights. Now if you see from the company point of view, we are just taking money from the people as loan and we will be utilizing them, correct? So what they are trying to say is, so company thinks that, okay, we are taking loan and we are using, so that, and we are also paying them the interest. So my management is not in the hands of debenture holders. They cannot come and give some orders to the company to do any work. The orders can be given only by equity shareholders because they have invested the money and they're also taking the risk. Okay, so debenture holders cannot control the company at all. They just have to get their interest payment and keep quiet. Okay, so that is first advantage. It is advantage to the company here. Then trading on equity is possible as debenture holders get lower rate of return than earnings of the company. This is very obvious because what debenture holders, if it's a fixed percentage, okay, and I gave it that example of 10,000. If you invest 10,000 for 15%, throughout the year, you get 1,500 at the end of the year. Let's say they're taking your money for 15 years. You'll keep getting 1,500 every year as interest. Okay, so debenture holders returns are very, very low than the profit of the company, because even though they get profit, they don't get profit, they'll keep paying you the interest. Okay, so debentures are the safest way of investment, but they don't give you too much of money. So trading on equity, that is why there is something called as convertible debentures. Since you are not able to get enough money what you expected, you can convert your debenture into a equity shareholder or equity share, and then you will be able to control the company and get profit, part of profit from the company. This is an advantage for the company as well as shareholder. How it is advantage for a company? Since it is a debenture holder, the company need not pay too much profit and they can check with the very low rate. advantage for a investor. Since he gets low rates, he can convert few of his share to equity shares. Then interest on debentures is an allowable expenditure under income tax. Hence, incidence of taxes on the company is decreased. So this is advantage for a company, because whenever the whenever the company pays interest on debentures, so that can be allowed under Income Tax Act. You need not consider that for calculation of tax, and so the company will reduce its tax burden. Then debentures can be redeemed when the company has surplus funds. This is what Reliance company did. Apart from the loan, apart from their normal bank loans and other stuff, they would have also repaid the debenture holders. Okay, so whenever you have more money in the company, just go pay all the debenture holders and say, okay, now loan is not given anymore from the company, it is done. Okay, so now Reliance is a zero debt company. They only have equity. Okay, so whenever you have extra money, go pay the people and finish your debentures. So these are advantages of debentures. Now moving on to the disadvantages of debentures, that is, cost of raising capital through debentures is high because of stamp duty. So when it comes to registered debentures, now these registered debentures are, let's say for example, you want to register a rent agreement. Okay, you want to register a rent agreement, or let's say you have bought a new house. Okay, when you get a new house, you will prepare the documents for the house. Okay, now when you get that new house registered in your name, that time you have to pay some amount. Yes, apart from you paying the land cost or building cost of the house, you will also have to pay some money to the government. Okay, that money will go in the form of stamp duty. This is also one of the source for the government, state government and central government. Okay, stamp duty will be paid for the registration, and that will be in the percentage of what? Percentage of the total registration amount. Suppose if you are buying a house for, let's say you're buying a house for 50 lakhs, that's a reason very low amount that I've taken actually. So 1% of 50 lakhs, 3% of 50 lakhs, like this you have to pay the stamp duty. Okay, similarly for debentures also, if you register your debenture, okay, if you register your debenture, then you will have to pay the stamp duty, because debentures are as good as a property to you. Even shares will also be registered like this. For shares also you have to pay the stamp duty. Okay, so all these are part from where all these rules have come. It's all come from Companies Act. Okay, it's not the new rules, it's all rules from many years. It's all rules from more than 75 to 100 years now. Okay, so that is the first of the disadvantage. Why it is a disadvantage here? It is disadvantage because paying stamp duty is extra amount apart from your investment. Suppose you wanted to invest 10,000. Now because of stamp duty, your investment and expense have raised to 15,000. That 5,000 is extra, and that 5,000 will not come back. 10,000 you have invested, which will come back, but the extra 5,000 will not come back. So that is why it is a disadvantage. Then common people cannot buy debentures as they are of high denominations. Debentures they will not usually keep for 10 rupees face value, 12 rupees face value. No, it will usually be in lakhs, thousands, 10,000s and more than that, and in lakhs. Now, why they keep in high denomination? Because the company is not a small company, right? The company is a big company where it requires more money. So that is the main reason where it will keep in the high denominations. Each debenture will be costing you 10,000 rupees. One debenture is 10,000. Okay, so that is how they try to keep. But there are companies who sell debentures at lower rate, not much or not this big of a disadvantage. Then the last disadvantage, they are not meant for companies earning greater than the rate of interest which they are paying on debentures. So this you have to analyze by seeing the balance sheet. So what are they trying to say is, these debentures are not suitable for the companies where they are earning too much profit. Okay, they are earning too much profit than what they are paying to the debentures. Okay, if the company itself is earning too much profit, why does it want loan? It can use the same profit and invest in its further business. So that is why they are saying it is not suitable for very, very big companies. I mean, the company